Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome, and please go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now because today's video is one of those stories that perfectly captures something about Jimin that even people who have been following him for years still find genuinely astonishing every single time it happens. We are talking about what the fashion world calls the Jimin effect, one of the most consistently documented and most commercially significant phenomena in K-pop's relationship with global fashion, and specifically about the moment it struck in London during the BTS Arirang World Tour. So let's get into it. The 7 members of BTS performed at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London on July 6 and 7, 2026, setting the highest ever audience capacity for a single concert at that venue, with an estimated 120,000 fans attending over the 2-night span. Tickets for both shows sold out in just 30 minutes. Let that sit for a moment. 30 minutes. 120,000 tickets, representing 2 nights at one of the most iconic stadium venues in England, gone in half an hour. London was one of only 2 UK dates on an enormous 82-date global tour spanning 34 cities, meaning British Army faced far stiffer competition for far fewer seats than fans in other markets. And in a gesture that earned widespread praise across the fandom, BTS and their team disabled dynamic pricing for the UK shows. Unlike the controversial surge pricing seen at other major tours, Bangtan kept face value tickets fixed. That decision, choosing fan access over maximum revenue extraction, is the kind of thing that ARMY notices and that deepens the relationship between the group and their community in ways that go far beyond any individual commercial transaction. But the concerts themselves were only part of the London story. BTS brought their massive BTS the City project to London, transforming the capital into a week-long fan festival. The London Eye illuminated in Arirang red. A BTS the City boat experience sailed down the River Thames. Events began on July 4 at the Korean Cultural Centre UK with music video screenings, photo zones, and a showcase of BTS's iconic stage outfits from their historic Wembley performances. From July 8 to 10, ARMY Madang at Outernet featured immersive experiences and exclusive merchandise. This is what BTS in London in July 2026 looked like, not just a concert, but a complete cultural takeover of one of the most internationally significant cities on the planet. The London Eye, one of the most recognizable landmarks in England, glowing red for Arirang. Party boats on the Thames. A week of fan events before and after the concerts. London did not simply host BTS. London became BTS, for one extraordinary week in the middle of summer. And in the middle of all of that, in the middle of 120,000 fans over 2 historic nights at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, in the middle of London landmarks lit up in Arirang colours, in the middle of what Time Out London described as a complete fan takeover of the capital, Jimin walked out wearing a hat. And a fashion brand based in London that many people had never heard of before found themselves at the centre of one of the most instantaneous and most dramatic sellout events the British fashion industry had witnessed in recent memory. The hat in question was from Charles Jeffrey Loverboy, a brand that, for those who are not embedded in the British fashion world, represents something genuinely exciting and genuinely distinct in the landscape of contemporary UK fashion. Charles Jeffrey is a Scottish-born designer who studied at Central St Martin's, one of the most prestigious art and design schools in the world, the institution that has produced generations of the most influential designers in modern fashion history, including Alexander McQueen, John Galliano, and Stella McCartney. Jeffrey launched his brand, Loverboy, in the early 2010s, initially through the legendary club nights he hosted in London that became cultural gathering points for the city's creative communities. His aesthetic draws from club culture, from British subcultural history, from mythology and fantasy, and a specific kind of joyful, theatrical maximalism that makes his pieces instantly recognizable and immediately distinct from anything else on the market. The specific piece that Jimin wore, a beanie hat with cat ears, playful and charming and simultaneously deeply cool in the way that only something designed by someone with genuine creative vision can be, is exactly the kind of item that makes sense as a Jimin choice. Not because it was a strategic brand alignment or a carefully negotiated placement deal, but because it is genuinely his aesthetic. Jimin has, across his career, demonstrated a consistent fashion sensibility that moves effortlessly between the extremely elevated and the genuinely playful, between the precise luxury of his Dior ambassador work and the kind of spontaneous, personality-driven accessory choice that makes a beanie with cat ears feel completely natural on a person of his presence. The Charles Jeffrey Loverboy hat is both of those things at once. It is from a brand with serious fashion credentials, designed by a Central St. Martin's graduate who has been praised by the industry's most respected voices. And it has cat ears. Jimin wearing it is the most Jimin thing imaginable. What happened after he wore it is what makes this a story beyond just a great outfit choice. The moment Jimin appeared on stage at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with the hat on, visible in fancam footage from inside the stadium, captured from multiple angles by the tens of thousands of ARMY who were documenting every second of the night, the clips started circulating on social media within minutes of the appearance. ARMY's identification of the brand was almost instantaneous. This is something worth understanding about how the ARMY community functions in relation to Jimin's fashion choices. There exists within the fandom a network of people who are specifically knowledgeable about fashion and who have developed the ability to identify pieces by brand, sometimes down to the specific season and collection, from relatively low-quality concert footage. It is one of the most remarkable examples of collective expertise within any fan community anywhere, and it means that when Jimin wears something new, the brand identification typically happens within a very small window of time after the footage appears. But in the case of the Charles Jeffrey Loverboy hat at the London concert, something unprecedented happened even by the standards of ARMY's typically lightning-fast fashion identification. The hat sold out on official retail platforms, including the luxury multi-brand platform Farfetch, before ARMY had even fully confirmed the identification. Before the community had finished cross-referencing the footage and putting together the posts identifying the exact piece, the stock was gone. The fashion intelligence network that ARMY had built over years of practice was, for once, slower than the market. ARMY had not yet said a word publicly, and the hat was already sold out. This detail, that the sellout preceded the fan announcement rather than following it, is what makes this specific instance of the Jimin effect so striking even among a long and well-documented history of similar events. In the typical pattern, ARMY identifies a piece, posts about it, the information spreads through fan networks, fans worldwide try to purchase it, and the item sells out within hours or sometimes minutes. That pattern is already remarkable. But in London, the sequence was different. The footage of Jimin in the hat reached enough people, not just ARMY, but general fashion followers, people who follow street-style content on TikTok, people in the London fashion community who were aware of the BTS concerts and were watching the footage that was circulating, and those people moved so quickly that the stock disappeared before the organized ARMY fashion identification network had completed its process. The Farfetch listing for the Charles Jeffrey Loverboy cat ear beanie showed sold out on its product page. The brand's own channels confirmed the piece was no longer available. In Spanish, because the screenshot that circulated most widely happened to be from the Spanish version of the Farfetch website, the message read, "Lo sentimos, en estos momentos este artículo está agotado." We're sorry, at this moment this item is sold out. The screenshot itself became a piece of content, shared widely as evidence of exactly what had just happened. The Jimin effect, documented in real time, across a language barrier, on a global luxury retail platform. This is not the first time something like this has happened, and understanding the history of the Jimin effect in fashion is important for appreciating the full significance of what occurred in London. The pattern has been consistent and well documented across years of Jimin's public life. When Jimin was photographed wearing a specific piece, a jacket, a pair of shoes, a jewelry item, the commercial consequences for the brand producing that piece were typically immediate and significant. The relationship between Jimin's personal style choices and the commercial performance of the brands he gravitates toward has been analyzed by fashion industry publications, noted by brand executives, and discussed extensively within academic and professional circles that study the intersection of K-pop and global commerce. What makes the Jimin effect particularly interesting, and what distinguishes it from the influence of other high-profile figures whose fashion choices drive consumer behavior, is the combination of authenticity and reach that defines Jimin's relationship with the things he wears. Jimin is not a person who dresses in whatever pieces are placed in front of him by a styling team following a brand deal brief. He is someone with a genuinely distinctive personal aesthetic, an aesthetic that has developed and evolved across his entire career, that reflects his actual tastes and his actual relationship with fashion as a form of self-expression, and that has remained recognizably his own even as his access to luxury brands has expanded dramatically during the Arirang World Tour era. When he wears something, it reads as a genuine choice. And that authenticity is what gives his fashion influence its specific character and its specific power. The choice to wear a Charles Jeffrey Loverboy piece in London is a perfect example of this. Charles Jeffrey Loverboy is not a brand that appears in most celebrity styling narratives. The broader context of BTS's London presence during this tour week adds another layer to the significance of the Jimin effect moment. The BTS the City London project transformed the capital into a week-long fan festival, with the London Eye illuminating in Arirang red and landmarks across the city participating in the celebration. In this environment, in a city that was actively, visibly, physically being transformed by the presence of BTS and their fans, the choice to wear a piece from a London-based brand was also a gesture of cultural acknowledgement. It said, "I am here. I see this city. I have done my research, I know your designers, I am paying attention to what makes London specifically distinct in the global fashion landscape." For a Korean artist visiting the UK for the only time on an entire 82-date world tour, that gesture of attention and respect toward a local creative community has a specific weight that goes beyond pure fashion commentary. The relationship between K-pop artists and local fashion communities at each tour stop has become an increasingly discussed topic in both fashion media and K-pop analysis circles. As BTS and other K-pop acts have toured more extensively through cities with distinct fashion identities, London, Paris, Milan, Tokyo, New York, the question of how these artists engage with local fashion culture has become more meaningful. The easy answer is the brand deal, the formal partnership negotiated between management teams and brand marketing departments. But the more interesting answer, and the one that generates the genuine cultural moments, the ones that end up as screenshots on fan accounts and in fashion industry newsletters, is the spontaneous, authentic choice. The piece worn because it resonates, because it fits, because it reflects something real about the person wearing it and the place where they are wearing it. The Charles Jeffrey Loverboy hat is that kind of choice. An army recognized it immediately, even as the stock was disappearing before they could formally announce the find. The posts that circulated after the sellout confirmation were full of the characteristic combination of joy and pride that defines how ARMY responds to Jimin's fashion moments: joy at the beauty of the choice, pride in the confirmation of what they have always known about his taste and his instincts, and a specific kind of excitement that comes from watching someone you care about make a genuinely perfect decision. As the Arirang World Tour continues from London to Munich, then Paris, and through the remaining dates across Europe and beyond, the fashion documentation will continue. Every city will have its moment. Every outfit choice will be analyzed, identified, and discussed. And somewhere in that ongoing documentation, the Jimin effect will strike again quietly, instantly, inevitably, in whatever city he visits next, through whatever piece happens to catch his eye and end up on his person on a concert stage in front of tens of thousands of people who are watching closely and who have the knowledge, the speed, and the genuine love to make the world pay attention. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content covering every dimension of Jimin's extraordinary fashion presence on the Arirang World Tour. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever personally experienced the Jimin effect? Did you try to get the Charles Jeffrey Loverboy hat and find it already gone? I want to hear your story. I will see you in the next video.